Bay Area Sports Report, and today we will be talking about 49ers training camp day 5, as there's a lot to get to. There are some bad news on injuries, there's some good news also. So let's get right into it. First, Debo, Debo Samuel is back with the 49ers, as you can see. John Lynch in the building, stopping by for the faithful, greeting them. It's very nice to see that, especially Debo Samuel's now back in the building with John Lynch. It's just exciting to see them back together. Debo Samuel arriving on camp. Then here's Debo working out, running in, getting some warm-ups up. Debo reuniting with Fred Warner. I think it's awesome to see Debo reuniting with some of his teammates. I think there's nothing like it in San Francisco, and I think he feels home here in San Fran, and I can't argue with him. Um, it's glad that he's back, and I think he's glad that he's back with the team, and I think it's exciting to see him mentoring receivers like Watkins and Cowing, who are guys that are like gadget receivers, kind of, which I'm excited to see how, and then maybe him mentoring Dejon Stribling. So I'm excited to see how this goes for the 49ers. And then Debo and Mike Evans. I can't wait for this duo to be together. I think it's a perfect thing. It's either, I think Debo can be the receiver 1 or 2. He could also be receiver 3, but there are a lot of people saying he might be receiver 2, which I won't mind. I think he's fine with that. He is also, a lot of that, he's doing well on route running, very good on that. Still, I think kind of the same as Debo, the same Debo he was. There's another route running. Oh, sorry. As he is running there, Diamond Debo. He was like one of his like number 1 options, and then here, Debo Samuel said could have a prominent role in the return game, which I won't mind that, but at the same time, I would let someone else do it because you have Cowing, you have Jordan Watkins, who are fast, they're speedy, and they're they're very fast, they're speedy, and they're very good players. I think they have the potential to be punt returners. I think maybe Cowing could be kick returner. I don't know. It'll have to depend on Watkins. We'll have to see with those two because I feel like those two have potential to be kick returners and punt returners. I would look at Cowing to be the punt returner because he's been there before, and then Watkins to be kick returner, and then running back we'll have to see because Jordan James is injured. We haven't seen any news on that lately, but it's great to see Debo back. He was looking like he was used. He looks like he was 28 years old when he was running his routes when I was looking at these, and you could see that um from himself, and I think it's awesome to have him back on the team. Along with that, DeAndre Lenore also had a good day at camp. He hasn't had the best at camp so far. He's been really getting losses against Mike Evans, but I think he's one of the most underrated cornerbacks. A lot of people don't think he is a good receiver or a cornerback. I think they're kind of wrong on that because I think he is a good quarterback, and I'm surprised that no one has noticed him. But I think he is going to be such an important part of this team. He's one of the leaders. He's been very good. He's been one of my favorite cornerbacks, one of my favorite players on the team, and he did very good against Mike Evans. He did really good against some other receivers, and it's good to have him back on there. Kyle Shanahan also appeared. Also, if I can find that, as you can see, Debo catching some passes there. Debo and Mike Evans. It's kind of awesome to see that also. But Kyle Shanahan back at practice. It's just awesome to see that. You can see the mustache, I think. I don't know if it is the mustache, but it's good to see him in practice. And he was also there for the last 2 plays, and they scored a touchdown. So you can realize on how big of an influence Shanahan really is. You could see how much of an influence he could be. And I think it's awesome to see him back up there. Him there. He's not doing interviews right now because he's still recovering, but at least it's a good sign that he's there. Also, Digizua also sacked Brock Purdy. It's good to have an interior rusher who could actually pressure because last year, Alfred Collins, Grayson Halton, and C.J. West, and like they didn't like had they had some pressure, but not as much pressure as Osa Digizua. And I think this is a nice change of pace. And I think he's been a very good player, and I think he's one of the most underrated players that we drafted or we got so far. Sorry, I said drafted. Um, but it's awesome to see Osa Digizua starting to become that pass rusher. Pass rusher. He's not. He's gonna be that a bit more. Not that run stuffer, but it's awesome to see him getting pressure, and we'll see if Nick Bosa can get into those. I haven't seen anything that much. Jacob Cowing and Wesley Grimes. Cowing was doing very well. So is Wesley Grimes. They've been doing very good. Wesley Grimes is one of the UDFA's. He's very underrated. He's 6'2". He's kind of like Dejon Stribling, but at the same time is kind of like a kick returner also, which is also another person who could possibly take over that, but we'll have to see. But I like Wesley Grimes. I think he's a bit underrated for the team, and I think he's been very good for the 49ers. I don't know if he's going to make it onto the roster, but I hope he makes it to like practice squad because I think it would be nice to see that. Jacob Cowing had some good runs also. He did good straight routes. He did very good on a lot of good things. He's good at route running. He's one of the best route runners. Now that Ricky Pearsall is out, more on him in a minute. And I think it's good to see Cowing and Watkins and now Wesley Grimes now stepping up. I think it's nice that they're doing that, and I think it's good that you need that depth for a receiver to step up, and I think it's good to see that for this team. Moving on to the receivers, Ricky Pearsall is gonna have season-ending IR on his PCL, on surgery on his PCL by John Lynch, and then it's just disappointing to see that though because Ricky Pearsall has been very good. He has been such a good player. He's so good at route running. He's been one of the great receivers I've seen at route running, and he had some good moments. It's just he couldn't stay healthy, and it's a sad and disappointing moment for the 49ers, but hopefully they are saying he could come back 2027 season. So in my situation, I would want to at least try to see if he could finally stay healthy on his final year, and then if not, then I just say cut him or trade him. But I think they probably will just let him go because I don't think any team would want an injured receiver, especially a PCL injury, which is very serious. So it's kind of a bit of a disappointing moment for the 49ers, but it is what it is, and injuries happen, and hopefully Ricky Pearsall comes back. But for now, I like the Debo Samuel that they brought in Debo Samuel. I still think Mike Evans and Dejon Shibley. I think that could still be a good trio. So I think it will still be fine without Ricky Pearsall, but it is gonna hurt for the route running for the 49ers, but I think they can find a way, in my view. As for Makali Kamara, was carted off with the field of an apparent leg injury. I love Makali Kamara. He's been one of the best edge rushers. He's been one of the um, top UDFA targets that were rumored to be good. So I really liked on what he was doing in college in Indiana, and now just seeing him injured, carted off. Hopefully it's just cramps, but I don't know. I don't think it is cramps for like Romello Height was. Speaking of Romello, he was also injured too. So Romello Height was also injured. So that's a bit of a disappointing one. That's a bit disappointing, especially because Romello Height was looking so good from last year, from the last training camp I saw, and now he is injured again, which is very sad, unfortunate, and kind of disappointing. But hopefully he could come back and get his injuries fixed. Hopefully he can get back into training camp and show what he can do, because he was looking very good from day 4. He was able to get pressure, so that was very good for Romelo height. So it's a bit sad to see that, but you know. As for Dejon's dribbling, also isn't practicing due to hamstring tightness, which is kind of a bit bad, especially for a receiver who is supposed to be that third receiver now. I don't mind like the other receivers like Demarcus Robinson or Watkins or Cowing, but I would rather just stick with the receivers I have, and I think it just works for me because I'd rather just stick with the receivers I have on the team with DeJohn dribbling. He's been very good on zone coverage. He hasn't been good in man coverage, but he's been a very good receiver, and he's been impressive for training camp, especially pressing Mike Evans. So I think overall he's been. Hopefully he comes back from injury. So I hope he comes back from that. And then the quarterbacks didn't have a good day except for except for Curtis Rourke. He played with the starters, which is kind of weird, especially now that he is the third string right here for the team. But Mac Jones and Brock Purdy, they didn't have a good. They still had like Brock Purdy was solid, but at the same time he kind of zipped his passes, but at the same time didn't he zipped his passes, but he kind of overthrew them, and that's a bit of a disappointing moment for Brock Purdy, especially for the starter. As for Mac Jones, he's just having a terrible um, training camp. I don't know he's just having a terrible training camp for the 49ers. I don't know what's going on. Hopefully he can somehow figure it out, but he's just been throwing picks. He's been throwing a lot of incompletes. It just hasn't been the same. I don't know if it has to deal with Kyle Shanahan, because I feel like Shanahan was influenced from Mac Jones's um playing, but I don't know. We'll have to see if he can rebound from that. So hopefully Brock Purdy and Mac Jones can improve the next days, because the first 2 days Mac and Brock haven't been looking good, including today and yesterday. So it's kind of a bit of a slight concern for the 49ers, and I hope that Brock Purdy will at least be able to improve, and so can Mac Jones. Hopefully they can just fix their way. As for Enriquez Cruz Jr., he wasn't the best. A lot of people are saying he's having a lot of pass breakups. If that has happened, we'll see what Vidarian Lowe is. We'll see how he does. But if that does happen, then I could see Austin Pleasance coming in, possibly. That is only if Vidarian Lowe can come back. And then I could see Brandon Parker also be coming back as the backup for Colton McKissick. So it's a sad disappointment, but hopefully he is a developmental project. So hopefully they can develop him a bit more to help him out. As for Renardo Green, he wasn't the best so far for the 49ers. He got burnt a lot, along with Jair Brown too. Kyle Shanahan specifically in those last 2 offensive plays, like I mentioned earlier. He was targeting on him a lot, and it's good. This is why Shanahan's like a good coach. He's good at analyzing the weaknesses of defenses usually, and that's why he's such a good offensive coordinator. And he's been doing that for a couple of years. He did that in Atlanta too, but he can't figure out Mike McDonald's defense. We'll see how he figures that out. Hopefully he can, but he's just so good at that, and I have to credit him for it. But Ronald Green and Jair Brown, they haven't been the best. Unfortunately for the safeties though, but as for like the cornerbacks right now, I'm not so worried about Renardo. I think he's just a young guy. He's still developing, and even if he's like not been doing good, there's still like good cornerbacks. Like I don't know about Jack Jones. He's more that training camp body. But for Ephesians Priceock and Nate Hobbs, I could see them still being good players. So I really not worried about the cornerback room, and I still think Renardo Green is still going to be good. cornerback. I still think he's going to be the RB2 along with or CB2 with alongside Diamador Lenore. So I'm not worried. As for Rajair Brown, he's gave up a lot of pass coverages. He hasn't gotten a lot of picks, and it's just kind of a sad moment because I like Jair Brown, but he just hasn't. Last year he blew up a lot of coverages. He did have a lot of picks, but what's important for a safety is that you have to have a lot of good coverage. You have to cover your man right. You have to cover the zone. You have to help your quarterbacks just in case. So that's what the job of your safety is. Maybe tackle most of the time. So that's why it's so important. So hopefully um Jair Brown can get things fixed. But I don't know though. I think Jair Brown will get stuff fixed, but hopefully, but wouldn't mind Marquis Siegel coming in to replace Jair Brown, mostly because he's kind of a bit of a better player, and I love Mohamed Mustafa. I still think he is a good player too, so I wouldn't mind those two players playing together. But if the Niners are confident in Jair Brown, then I guess I'll trust him on it. But he hasn't been the best at it, but we'll see on how he does, and we'll see how it goes. As for, and then you can see more of Debo Samuel and Mike Evans here. It's just awesome to see those two together. They respect each other a lot, and I got it handed down to them on that. It's just awesome. It's gonna be awesome to see that. I think them being together is like a dual threat for the team, and I think learning from them, having those two veterans, it'll help the rookies a lot too. So. Especially Dejon's dribbling, which will be nice. As for Debo, is saying, "Bro, keep your head up high. Your time is coming." So we'll see if we could get Ricky. We'll see if we can get Ricky Pearsall back in 20. We'll see if Debo stays. I mean, he did sign a 1 year deal, but I don't know. He may just stay, possibly stay, maybe Debo, but I don't know. I don't think he is because you especially have Ricky Pearsall, but there's a lot of 49ers injuries also, so it's going to be kind of an issue for the 49ers. As for Debo, speaking on his signing with the 49ers in relationship with Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch, he said contract negotiations is contract negotiations, and those conversations were for John, Kyle, and my agent to have. Our relationship has never changed or had a fallout. That was just contract negotiations that I'm not in control of. So overall, I think Debo doesn't have like issues with the 49ers, which is kind of surprising, but it is what it is. So I think he's been a very good I think he's taken accountability, he's more mature now, and I like that from Debo because he was arguing on getting the ball more, and I didn't like that because as we got him to the ball, gave the ball to him more, he just started to just get lazy and just haven't been good lately. So I really don't mind Debo coming in. So I hope I'm glad that he's taking account. He's a veteran and he's taking account and he's mature now. So I like that. As for Dre Greenlaw, he reached out to Debo Samuel during free agency, saying I reached out to him during free agency and said, "Hey man, come on back. Let's have a reunion. Let's do this together, bro. He knows ain't no place like San Fran." And I think that's pretty cool to have those two back together. They're both the enforcers, Dre Greenlaw and Debo for offense. Debo for offense as the enforcer and defense, Dre Greenlaw. And I like that. They're I think I can see the similarities for both of those. So I think it's pretty cool to see that. And then you could see Debo trying to sign autographs. So overall, this 49ers training camp, there's a lot of injuries. So hopefully, that's not too serious. But it's just devastating. But the good news is there are some depth pieces that hopefully can step up. So I'm excited to see how this goes. We'll see what happens next in the later days of training camp. And yeah, that's all. And Make sure to like, subscribe, and share, and comment down below on what you think of Hornets Training Camp Day 5. And this is Ray from Bay Area Sports Report, signing off.